in today's video, we're going to install a Gori folding 2-blade prop, like so. I bought this prop from AB Marine, very helpful, the team there at AB Marine. We'll talk more about that later. But yeah, this video is about installation of this prop. So why did I choose the Gori prop over other props that are on the market? Well, I looked at the reviews and the reviews are really good, especially reviews for rearward performance, which was a concern of mine moving to a folding prop, was rearward performance. I also talked with the team over at AB Marine, which is the North American distributor for Gori, and they were just really helpful. And they also had a special on coming off the back of the Annapolis boat show. So they had a boat show special which knocked about $500 off it. So it was really cost effective. So what are the features of this prop? Well, so it has a gearing system here. So this gearing system makes sure that both sides of the prop move together, and then the stopper involved is here. So it stops against the other side when it gets to this position. When it's fully out like that, it basically cuts through the water like so and will stay in there, and basically it drives itself open like this as it spins around. And then when you stop, it simply folds up like so. So it's got really good control both in forward and reverse. When in reverse, it probably goes out to about there, but it still goes pretty far out. And unlike some props that may only fold out one side, because these two are linked together, they fold up out both sides. What size did I get? So Appre's original prop was a 2-blade prop, and it was a 13-inch pitch and 16-inch diameter prop. The Gori one that was recommended to me is a 16.5-inch prop, so diameter, and still a 13-inch pitch and right hand. So that's the prop, the correct prop for the Hunter 336, according to Gori, and it's really only half an inch bigger than the prop that's designed for it. And I believe that's because the size of the center here is a little bit more, so you need a little bit longer to get the same thrust. So it popped a little bit, and now just take it off all the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the prop apart. I should have done this in the warm, but I totally forgot about it. So I'm going to do it now. The prop itself comes with a Allen key, which is the one required to take out all the set screws. So I'm going to start by taking out the side set screw. So that one's there, and so it looks like the one that was in the side is a little longer with a bullet point. These ones are smaller, so the front ones are smaller here. And then beware that there are two in these side ones here, so you have to get the one down the bottom as well, and they're pretty tight to say. It's just come from the factory, so, and these are just holding the pins in, which is a big job, but probably unnecessary from the factory, but we've got them here now anyway. So these ones here, you see, they're longer as well. They look very similar to the one, but I'm going to put them separately anyway, just so I don't get the two mixed up, just in case there is a small difference. So now we need to take out the pins that are in here, and these pins, you can see I've just pushed that with my finger. You can see I just pushed it with my finger and it moved out. So I'm going to do more of that, but I'm take the load off the blade. So I'm going to put it on its side like this so I can really push it and then grab it from the other side. Now, somebody said, you know, knock it out with a wooden piece. You can do that. I don't have a wooden dowel pin, but once I get it to there, I can pull it by hand. So there's the pin out. Now you'll notice, before you take this apart, what you'll notice is everything is marked. So on the back here it says 2. You can see it says 2 there. On the pin, and these have some grease on them already. The pin also says 2, and on the hub itself, there it says 2 here as well. So you just line, when you put them all back together, just make sure the 1s go with the 1s and the 2s go with the 2s. The second one is easy to take out. It just pulls straight out like that. So that's the whole thing taken apart, and you can see it's already got some grease in there from the factory, but I'm going to put a little bit more in there anyway. So I'm going to check the fit onto the shaft, and it goes on really tight. You can see that it's pretty tight. It's all the way touching at the back, and you can actually hear it squeak when I rotate it. So that looks like a good fit. What I am going to do is, just so we get an even better fit, is I'm going to use some of this, which is basically some lapping compound. So I'll take some lapping compound and I'm going to apply it to the shaft here. And this is just to ensure that it gets a really good contact all the way around. So here it goes, it's all in there. And now, put the lid back on this. Thanks Captain Phil for sending me some of that. And I'm gonna put this in here and gonna rotate it and just make sure that it's a really good fit. And that will just make sure that the shaft and the prop are all together. And you can see it's touching all over because all the lapping compound is really like all over it. Now I'm going to wipe it off with a clean rag. And make sure there's none in the gap. So in the piece where there's a point where the key goes in. Just make sure there's none in there. But yeah, this is quite a nice surface now. We're going to do the same with this. I'm going to just thread this through and make sure we get it all out of there. Also says make sure that this actually
fits onto the shaft and screws in. It says it should get tight at a certain point. It does get tight at a certain point, but it's got a good few threads in there first, so I'm not too concerned about that. Here's the key that goes in the slot here, so you can see it goes in pretty well. I did clean it all up. It's been sort of polished either side to make sure that it will fit and that there's no debris on it. Now it sort of goes in there like so. I push it as far back as I can before it starts to roll out, which is about there. And then I'm going to push this over the top of it, holding it in, and just make sure it doesn't ride back or ride forward, and that it goes all the way to where it should. I can't see it on this side, and I can't see it on, I can just see it on that side. So you can just see it in the back there. That's as far as it goes. It's pretty much all the way back. You can't see any material all the way around it. Now we're going to start the hex on there, start the threads, get this in as far as I can by hand. All right, then I'm going to look at the torque spec, and there's a list of torque specs in here, depending on the size of the shaft nut. Now this is a 3/4 inch, so it's got 75 foot-pounds or 125 newton meters. There you go. So you heard it click. That was 75 foot-pounds, and I can, I don't know whether you can see this, but if you look there, you can see the hole through where you can put the pin through. You can see I've sort of got it through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull on this end and tap the other end at the same time and see if I can get it just a bit further in, so it'll stay in. Yeah, that's done it. All right, so the next thing it says to do is put blue Locktite, which comes with the kit. Put blue Locktite on top of the threads of the piece that goes, of the set screw that goes in here, and then screw it in. Here's the supplied locking thread lock, or Locktite, and we're just gonna, it's blue Locktite basically. Tells you the compound on the instructions. We're just gonna put a line on the threads like this. Usually put it on the first thread because the first thread then gets basically wiped down the whole thing on the way in. So we're going to screw it in like so. Until it's tight, and then just tying it. It's pretty tight now. I'm picking number 2 here. I'm just putting some grease on it. And the whole pin. Just giving it a bit of a coat of grease, lightly coated, like so. And so I'm also gonna lubricate this surface and this surface. Oh, look at that. This is already lubricated and still clean, so it's going back in this way up, and it's going to take off some of the grease. Don't worry about that too much. So now it says put Locktite in the hole, and also, so I'm going to put Locktite in the hole here, also on the threads. So it's going to, like I said before, it's going on the first thread, which should put it in various. I'm going to put it on the whole thing here because basically, with them saying wants to go in the hole as well, means that you want to get it all the way down. Now, the one thing you've got to make sure you do, and I don't know if you can see this, is rotate the pin so it's right. About there is where it's right, and it should self-center because it'll go into the little hole that's in there. Or at least there you go. It's self-centered. I could see it move as I screwed into it. So I'm just going to tighten it there, and it's flush. So I check it's flush by just doing that, just making sure it's flush on there. Give it a bit of a tie-in. Make sure this still moves freely, which it really moves freely. You can see it moving. And then we're going to do the same thing with the second one. So I'm going to put it on the piece here, put it on the Allen wrench, and then put some Loctite on it. This is much thicker than normal blue Loctite, it seems. I feel like it is anyway. I don't know where the Gori get it from, but I think in the book they said it's blue Loctite. So I'm just going to tighten that up now. So the one set screw is against the second set screw, so basically it has a lock nut. So I'm going to move the camera. I'm just going to grease in here a little bit, not too much, just a little. And this surface here, which is the surface that gets it. Alright, so that one's done. And then like I did before, I'm just going to take some grease and I'm going to wipe it on this surface, like so. On the other surface, like so. And then I'm going to pre-do this one. So just a bit on here. Alright, I'm going to put that to one side a minute. So that goes in like this. And then that went in relatively easy. So this needs twisting around a little bit. But I'm going to get the Allen key and this ready first. And I bet you can use a screwdriver to center this if you need to. Yep, again, I wasn't completely lined up, and when I got close, it pulled itself in. So now that is tight in there. When it's back, they're both even, and they come in like so. Now, just going to leave it like that a second while I get this second one in. Try not to get any grease on the threads, because if you do, you have to degrease them before you put Locktite on. And there we have it. So why am I doing this? Why did I add a folding prop? Well, my crew kept going on at me that we'd be much better if we had a folding prop. So eventually I bit the bullet and just doing it. So that's the reason, and we're done. It's a really straightforward job, and it's a couple of hours, that's all. The most expensive thing is the prop itself. And once we're in the water next year, I'll give you an update on the performance and how I think it's going. But right now, that's it. I'm going to go inside and grab something warm to drink because it's cold out here.